Thank you, Honorable Member, for joining us in ICD. We would like to know your views and thoughts about some of the salient issues affecting the world today. But before we start, I'd like to know, as a senior politician, what are some of the messages you have for generations of young leaders to come?
Well, first of all, I consider myself, yes, a senior in terms of age. In terms of a politician, I'm not so senior, which gives me this maybe sense of naive and tendency to indeed focus on the younger generation that inspire me every day. That means that sense of encouragement is necessary, that sense of inclusion of a younger generation in the big decisions to make that influence indeed global development needs to be secured. I'm very proud that, for instance, my party, Democrats 66, are in favor of all kind of formula and consultations, and actually even the position to lower the age to vote in the Netherlands in order to ensure better inclusion of a younger generation. Because I'm sure that once the younger generation continues to be aligned and involved in social and political issues, we will also ensure the best type of solutions necessary for the future.
That's great. Thank you very much.
Okay, I would like to ask about what are the current major challenges of the EU, European Union? What do you think?
Well, first of all, I'm of course not a spokesperson on European Union matters. As you can imagine, with indeed, for instance, many of the speakers here emphasizing the threats on the European continent related to, of course, Ukrainian and the Russian war. Yeah. It means that matters of security, stability are real and has changed reality of European citizens, such as indeed the citizens here in the Netherlands, of here, where I come from in the Netherlands. That means that matters related to security, matters related to energy crisis, matters related to actually the accrued wealth is under threat due to global issues, climate change, necessary to adapt to climate-related issues, to build more resilience, to consider and reconsider matters related to democracy, to morals and values, and how we see certain developments in other parts of the world. Overall, you see that dependencies, therefore, between Europe and other continents are growing. And rightfully so. I therefore, and my party also therefore believes that those type of global concerns need to be incorporated in order to build a new sense of community, focused on matters, on principles of inclusion, equity, fairness, in order to ensure that everybody can secure their development necessary, whether it's India, whether it's Ghana, whether it's other continents in the Caribbean where my roots are as well.
That's great. So now about Russia and then Ukraine. The current crisis going on, do you think it's a war between the West and Russia? What do you have to say about that?
I'm cautious to conclude, especially always when you believe that you don't have all the full facts at hand. But what spoke to me just now during one of the speakers was, of course, that it is indeed related to matters of freedom, matters related to democracy, matters related to liberal democracies, and that I believe triggered that new sense of community, togetherness, to indeed support Ukraine in the fight that they have. I mean, we were all, I believe, surprised to see the amount of strength and persistence and resilience of a community such as Ukraine to fight such a world power. And of course, the fact that I mentioned earlier that it indeed relates to matters of democracy, matters related to freedoms, contributes to a Europe that stands united with Ukraine.
That's good.
Yeah. Okay. So, how would you define cultural diplomacy, and how much important it is in your opinion?
Well, I've been a proponent, a supporter of cultural diplomacy, maybe through the work that I've done. I've been an interim Minister of Education, Culture, Youth and Sports. I've been a Minister Plenipotentiary in the Netherlands, and I'm now, of course, a Member of Parliament. So my hands-on experience with cultural diplomacy has been on the level of the Kingdom of the Netherlands, that consists of a European part and a Caribbean part. So that is kind of like intercultural diplomacy on a smaller scale, actually within one state, but relates to matters of diversity, of bicultural identities, and how that can influence, of course, the extent that you share certain type of beliefs, or that you're able to understand principles and positions that people, groups, communities, countries have. And of course intercultural diplomacy therefore always wants to emphasize the importance of consultations, the ability to connect, to build bridges, and therefore to further expand on understanding in order to solve matters. And that could be, of course, between two countries, could be between multiple countries, but it could also be on the level of organizations or the private sector that have to do with one another. So intercultural diplomacy, of course, is usually applied in a political context, but it goes beyond that.
Okay. Thank you very much for your insights in cultural diplomacy. My final question is about NATO. Do you think the West can trust NATO, and is there any weakness you perceive in?
Well, I'm not a specialist on defense and NATO-related issues.
Okay.
But so if you come to me with matters of kingdom relations and culture and the arts, and its value, for instance, to global peace, prosperity, and also well-being, I feel much more at ease to accommodate these things. If I'm going to start making statements about NATO, I think I'm going to tread on a path that is not my expertise. That's my colleague. I'm from a bigger party, so we divide responsibilities. So it's my colleague that discusses matters related to international and foreign affairs, and also another colleague that has the positions related to defense and matters of security, and therefore also of NATO.
Okay, thank you very much. Shabna, do you have any more?
I have one more question to ask. Okay, so it's about cultural diplomacy. What role do you think cultural diplomacy can play in new world order?
Well, of course, many factors play a role to establish and explore, and to therefore create stability in a new world order. But I do believe that intercultural diplomacy and diplomacy altogether, and therefore also international cultural diplomacy, is can be valued more than we have seen, because once you, as I mentioned, depart from the acceptance of each other's perspectives, experiences, history, you have much better understanding, and therefore also the ability to reach conclusions and consensus moving forward.
Okay, yeah. Thank you very much. Then, do you have any more questions?
Well, I don't have any more questions. Ms. Jorien, right? Jorien, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you so much for having me.
To listen to you before the interview, but it's unfortunate we have to do the interview first before the main speech. So we have to get back in there.
Inside,
Thank you very much.
So, it is an honor and privilege to us. Okay, thank you very much for being here, and thank you for spending good time with us.
Thank you.
And then we hope that in the future we are going to see her again.
Yes.
Have this lovely time.
I'm a first timer here, for sure. So it's definitely new to me. But I'm impressed with the institute.
Yes, we'll have a good time again. See you.
Thank you very much.
Much success with studies.
Come again.
Much success with studies.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.